Hello, and welcome to our March episode of Hingham Happenings. I'm your host, Katherine Collins. Let's take a look at what's coming up on this episode. The Shut Up Sisters present a workshop about the movement of imperfection. Hingham High School gets together for an Iceberg Challenge rowing relay race. Lincoln Day is celebrated at the Old Ship Church in Hingham. All this and more coming up on Hingham Happenings. The Sisters of Shut Up Industries talk about their book, Shut Up About Your Perfect Kid. Their workshop was held at the Hingham Country Club, where they spoke to parents about dealing with life's imperfections.
Hi, my name is Gina Gallagher. I am the president of Shut Up Industries, which is the parent company for our book, Shut Up About Your Perfect Kid.
And my name is Patty Tarasi, and I am the Vice President of Shut Up Industries.
And we're sisters. Tonight we are presenting a workshop called The 7 1/8 Habits of Highly Imperfect People, Parents. And we're talking about how to embrace the differences and the expectations you had for your child and love the reality.
How we got involved in this is through personal stories. My daughter, who's now 22, was diagnosed at the age of 11 with bipolar disorder.
I have two daughters with disabilities. My oldest daughter was diagnosed. She is now 20, and she was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome, which is a form of high-functioning autism. And my younger daughter has some learning disabilities, language-based math disability.
What we found was, even though we were very fortunate in that we had each other, we had a very supportive family, we still felt very isolated within our communities. And so it started off as a cathartic exercise. We were going to write a book, and we interviewed friends and then friends of friends, and then this whole speaking thing emerged, which was not planned.
One of the things that we like to say when we're out speaking is that we live in a society that's obsessed with perfection. We're supposed to live in perfect houses, have perfect bodies, have perfect kids. Patty and I,
Not so much.
Not so much. And one of the things we want to say, the title of our book is Shut Up About Your Perfect Kid, and what that really says is that no child is perfect. So stop saying, no matter whether your child has a disability or not, no child is perfect. And it's very dangerous to label children as perfect. And what we talk about is loving the reality, loving the way we are, and trying to be the best we can of the way we are, not trying to force us to fit in a cookie cutter.
That's right. Although we do like cookies. Being imperfect is just so very liberating.
Well, we actually have a greater goal. It's to share our lessons about raising children with disabilities and to help other people understand disabilities and to not be afraid to ask us about our kids and to talk about our kids in a way that humanizes them. We're not hiding our kids. We're showing them so that people can learn from them.
And also to not settle. Like, if you push your kids, if you set the bar higher, our children will achieve, and exceed expectations. So you always want to hold them to high standards, not ridiculously high standards, but always push them a little bit so that they will develop self-confidence and to be able to achieve. Maybe you might have started off and you were a great student. Maybe your child isn't a great student, but there'll be another area that they'll exceed in that you might not have expected. In the message with our book is a few life lessons that we hope to impart upon people. Number one is you're not alone. It may feel like that at times, but all you need to do is reach out to the imperfect community and you realize that you're not alone. And the second one is accept your child for who they are, embrace their unique qualities, and just kind of ride the wave.
And have fun. Life is short. Use laughter. It's a stress technique, a way to relieve stress, to laugh, and to not take yourself, your children's struggles or life too seriously. One of the things we want to say is what's been really exciting is we started off with our book just two moms, two sisters struggling, We didn't expect that it would have the impact it had on people around the country. But what was really surprising to us is our book got picked up by a publisher in Korea, South Korea. And we're finding, and from our Facebook page, which has about 850,000 people around the world, we're finding that the challenges we face and the struggles and the joys are universal. And so anybody out there who thinks they're alone, you are not alone. One of the questions we got when we first came out is said, people said, we're not supposed to brag about our kids that don't have disabilities, and that's not what we're saying at all. We're saying every parent should brag about their kids. But as special parents, we're very proud of our kids, and we brag about them, but maybe not for the traditional things that other parents brag about.
All of us have unique gifts that were given to us. And if we pursue those interests in those gifts, it also sets us on a path that we may meet people that we never expected we would encounter. And it actually, it gives you a greater appreciation. And I know we've met people that we never expected to meet along this journey.
Well, and I also think that as we go through adversity in our lives, sometimes we're in the darkest point of our lives. And there's a favorite quote that I love, and I don't know if it was from Tigger, who was Pooh's friend, but he said, the harder the fall, the higher the bounce. And sometimes it takes us going through our imperfections, through difficult trials, through watching our children struggle, to see them and bring us into to achieve higher things and things we never thought possible. We invite anybody who likes our message to come and join the movement of imperfection, which just says every parent has a right to be proud and to share in the joys and challenges of raising kids who aren't perfect. To join us at our website at shutupabout.com or on our Facebook page at Shut Up About Your Perfect Kid. How many of you here, when we all go through, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the emotions we go through, but when our children are diagnosed, we instantly, or anything goes wrong with our children, as mothers, our first instinct is to say, is to feel guilty and say, it's our husband's fault. But Patty and I, when we compared notes, we're like, God, it's us. And actually, my friend Megan, who so eloquently put it, apparently there was no life card at your gene pool. But that just made us laugh because, we'll talk about this a little bit later, but we picked up books, we read about our kids' disabilities, and it was so depressing, and we felt like people didn't understand our kids. Our kids did not meet the model of perfection. And you don't have to have a kid with a disability to experience that. I have met so many people whose kids are average. Some of us would shoot for average. Some people whose kids are just average. They're not stars, and they're struggling to find their kid's place. Or maybe we have a kid that has no learning issue whatsoever, but maybe dad thought he was going to play sports. And you know what? He likes theater and music. And so one of the things that we have learned through our experiences is how to let go of those parental expectations and love the reality.
Hingham High School students got together for the 3rd annual Ergathon at Reebok CrossFit Bear Cove. This competitive relay race was a great way for people of all ages to tone up their rowing skills.
So today is the 3rd annual Hingham High School Ergathon and Iceberg Challenge, which is a competitive rowing relay race for various teams around Hingham, also outside of Hingham. There's also senior teams which are from CrossFit and from CRI, so it's a little bit of everybody, and it's a great way for the teams to work together, and it's a really fun competitive event. You know, our president, Doug McCaig, I believe, and Paul Mead, I think, were the ones who kind of created the idea, and it's a great off-season way to get these teams to work together, and it's just a really fun and entertaining time.
I've been involved with the rowing program in Hingham since the very beginning, so 10 years now. This is the Iceberg Classic 3 years in a row. So we've got schools from all over here as well as the Hingham. And then we've got, of course, the adults that you saw earlier. We've done relay races for a long time, and we just thought this would be a good way to bring people together in the middle of the winter.
I'm on the Hingham High School Rowing Association board. My daughters are twins and they're sophomores and they're in the rowing program. Today we have the Iceberg Challenge, which is a relay that they do on the erg, and it's over a set period of time, and the team that logs the most meters at the end in each category wins. And it's kind of nice because it brings in some older rowers and also some kids from various other high schools. We have Milton High School here. We're expecting some other high schools to come to join our Hingham High School students. And you know, the one thing about winter training in New England with rowing is that it's snowing, and this is a nice way to kind of keep everybody motivated as they look forward to the spring season.
The Hingham High School crew team is a year-round program. Here in Hingham, we have about 100 kids in our program. There is a fall season, there's a winter training season, and there's a spring season as well as some summer programs that we do. The nice thing about the Iceberg Challenge is incorporates our winter training, which is a 4-day or a 6-day, pretty intense program to keep our rowers in shape, both girls and boys. So we do I think 2 days of CrossFit. We do a day of rip rides, which is new this year. We do 2 days of erging, and one of those days incorporates yoga to keep these kids really at the top of their games. And it's a great way to keep them as a team during an off season, which they're not officially rowing. And this kind of event is really great in getting all the different various teams that they row against during the year together off season.
This is my second year. I did winter last year, and they pulled me up to varsity, and I've been in love with it ever since. I think the Iceberg Classic it's painful, but in the end it's rewarding that you can put up almost a half marathon within an hour. If you want to try rowing and you want to get serious about it, I would do winter crew, because mentally it'll toughen you up in ways that you've never thought possible.
It's really not like any other sport that I've ever done before. So I think it appeals to me a lot personally. There's a lot of, I think, personal growth, but then like a lot of teamwork at the same time. So don't be afraid, just try it out. Even if you're not like the best of the best, I think it's really fun. The camaraderie is really great. And I think the skills that you learn and the determination and the commitment, I think, will carry with you the rest of your life. I hope it carries with me the rest of my life.
It's actually my third time participating in it. So in the spring, I'm focused on crew, and then winter comes, and I actually play basketball more than I row. But I try to come and row with all the girls and guys and get a mixture of the two. Then spring comes along, and I'm all focused on crew then.
Sometimes 4 seasons. A lot of people do summer, and then other people do summer programs. Like Sean, the other captain, did a camp at CRI. They're here right now, and that was like an 8-week thing. He went to Canada to regatta. So you need to stay competitive through even the off seasons. There's really not like an off season if you're serious about it.
It's a hard sport, but you really come together as a team and you click, and it's a lot of fun.
We're partnering with CrossFit for 3 years now. It's a fantastic partnership. They're great people. They've got all records from years past, so mostly bragging rights. Well, I think it makes it much more so exciting if you can watch your performance on the screen. We have a robust rowing program for middle schoolers and also for all high schoolers, so we'd like to have every boy and girl in town try rowing at least once. So.
Honestly, there's a lot of hard parts. I mean, the motivation, self-motivation, trying to push yourself harder while the workout's really kicking you in the butt. So.
I have twin boys who are both rowers at the high school and have been for 4 years, and as crazy and intense as it is, they are passionate. All of our kids, it's one of the greatest, most supportive teams I feel at the high school.
The coaches are fantastic, the children who participate are fantastic. It's the ultimate team sport. When they go out on the water, they have usually 8 rowers in a coxswain, and the oldest one might be 17 or 18 years old, and they're kind of on their own for a race. So it teaches them a lot about teamwork, a lot about decision making, and it's been great for my family, and I would strongly encourage any parent who thinks they have a child who might be interested in it. I would tell you this, they're the most interesting kids you'll ever meet in your life. It's hard work, it really is.
Right on Facebook, Iceberg Classic.
of Hingham gathered to celebrate Lincoln Day with a very patriotic ceremony at the Old Ship Church. This wonderful celebration is a truly honorable tradition for the Hingham community to experience.
Recognize public officials. Representative Lynch is here. I'd like to recognize our selectmen, Chairman Cole Healy, Cole Gannon, and Mary Howard. I'd like to recognize the Society of the Cincinnati, represented by Michael Studley and in absentia Philip Shute. The Hingham Militia, Captain Tim Perkins, John Hall, Peter Hall, Military Order of the Loyal Legion, represented by Fred Stevens, and the 22nd Massachusetts Regiment.
Continuing a tradition that the selectmen have put in place for some time now. Whereas the town of Hingham was settled in 1635 by a small band of Puritan pilgrims, many of whom came from Hingham, England, and its environs. And among those descendants of those original settlers were two famous American public figures who shared the common family name Lincoln, as well as a common heritage. And whereas it is a long-standing Hingham tradition to honor and celebrate their birthdays, General Benjamin Lincoln, a lifelong Hingham resident, and hero of the American Revolution, and Abraham Lincoln, our 16th president, and the towering figure of the Civil War. And whereas we honor and celebrate the lives, the deeds, of the two Lincolns because of the indelible legacy, community building and preservation they have left for us. And whereas in this year, 2016, we pay special honor to 4 centuries of our citizens, those like Benjamin Lincoln and Abraham Lincoln, those unknown to history, who worked in myriad ways to build and sustain this wonderful community of Hingham and the broader communities of state and nation. And whereas the preservation of a community is a perpetual task in which each generation must fully participate. Now therefore, we, the Board of Selectmen of the town of Hingham, do hereby officially proclaim Saturday, February 13th, 2016, Lincoln Day.
This event has always had a special place in my heart because it was the very first event that I donned the uniform and joined the 22nd Massachusetts Reenactors. It was my first event in uniform as a reenactor. I remember I was never so scared in my life. I was absolutely sure that I would somehow make a mistake on the salute and fire too late. Nobody wants to be the one who fires late, as the reenactors tell you. That was 18 years ago, and now here we are, and I'm really, really honored to be speaking. I thought I'd offer some reflections not only on the crucial role that the governor played in the Civil War, but also on his interactions with President Lincoln. Fundamentally, the two men stood for the same things, and I believe they recognized this in each other. But they were polar opposites in terms of personality and political approach, and this led to considerable tension. Historian Alan Evans described Governor Andrew as, quote, an aggressive, generous, choleric little man, the Miles Standish of the Bay State, far-sighted, fearless, and unwearied, emotional and impulsive. He was tactless, and his fierce bluntness made many enemies. A somewhat unforgiving description, but not really inaccurate. In 1875, the Grand Army of the Republic completed a beautiful monument over Andrew's grave, featuring a marble sculpture of the governor by Boston sculptor Thomas R. Gould. During the dedication of the statue of the governor in October 1875, General Luther Stevenson of Hingham predicted, quote, the people of this land shall come here to revive the fires of patriotism, to reflect upon their duties to God and their country, unquote. So we did today, and will continue to do. Thanks very much.
It's important to look to the future, and we do that a great deal. Our politicians of every stripe are looking to the future now in this contentious election. How important it is to look to our past sometimes too. With you, I have been enriched this morning, thanks to Patrick and everyone else today. Enriched and inspired. And so, inspired this day by example of forebears named and unnamed, that we be partners with one another in our nation, and with all peoples in the world which includes people of many colors, many faiths, many backgrounds, varied kinds of families, diverse gifts and talents, partners in peacefully creating a society and a world of greater justice, equality, freedom, and peace for all peoples. A world in which no one is left out or left behind. A world in which we find and create harmony and balance with all life. Dear God, so may it be. Amen.
We urge each citizen to take to heart the examples of the two Lincolns and those of 4 centuries of Hingham citizens. And we urge each citizen to participate in some concrete way in the strengthening and preservation of this community of Hingham and the broader communities of state and nation for the generations which will succeed.
Prayer for the future. We come together today for Thanksgiving, for the many blessings we enjoy in this free land, seeking guidance in the difficulties of the present, yet confident that the future holds and will bestow its own abundant possibilities. We are mindful of the faith and dedication of those in the past who dreamt great dreams, saw a vision of a nation as yet unimagined, and gave themselves to the struggle to bring into reality what was and is the new order of ages. May our remembrance of Benjamin and Abraham Lincoln enliven our endeavor to maintain this new order, achieved in the revolution that saw its birth and in the conflict that preserved this, our unique union of states, in a new order. May this be our prayer, that our land be blessed with honest industry, sound learning, and high ideals. Save us, Lord, from violence, discord, and confusion, and support us as we seek to fashion into one united people the multitude brought hither out of many kindreds and tongues. May our concern for and remembrance of things in the past lead us not merely to look back, but to the promise of the future and its possibilities. May we, in our time, be searchers and adventurers like those to whom we pay our tribute and for whose accomplishments we give thanks today. Amen.
We will now have the presentation of color.
Forward.
We will now have the Pledge of Allegiance. Now sing the national anthem.
That's all for this month. Tune in next time for another exciting episode of Hingham Happenings. If you have any suggestions for a future episode, please email us at hinghamhappenings@hinghammedia.org. Thanks so much for watching.